Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Sunday Night Live, your favorite automotive show where we talk about all the things that improve the customer experience at your stores. Whether it's the front of the house, the back of the house, the middle, doesn't really matter, because the better we get at what we do, the better the customers enjoy the experience. And guess what? People that love where they service and buy their cars will bring all of their friends, their family, their coworkers, everybody, and they will sing your praises up and down. And today, word of mouth is the internet. The internet's kind of like today's television. So think of this. The average person on Facebook has 500 friends, and most of those friends live within a geographical area that's close to them. So each time they rave online how wonderful your store is, that goes across 500 people's feeds. So if 10 people do this for you, that's 5,000 people you reach for guess how much money? Zero money. So every week I bring on the experts to share with you what they do or what they've done to help you get better at what you do. Because sometimes a problem seems huge to you and I, and then you talk to somebody and like, oh yeah, we dealt with that before, and this is how we resolved it. So we've got an interesting show tonight. I've got a couple of parts professionals with me. I've got my good friend of 20 years, Andy Rowan, otherwise known as Andy Parts, because this guy knows parts. And Freddy Trujillo, parts director. He also is a parts professional. I'm very lucky because I have a great network of people that I associate with. And we're going to get down and dirty in the parts department. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show, and please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Andy Rowan, otherwise known as Andy Parts. Now been in automotive parts for almost 40 years. Now currently master certified parts specialist for Lexus of Westport.
Welcome.
All right, my name is Freddy Trujillo. I'm parts director currently with McGrath City Hyundai. I've been in the business for probably something over 20 years now, working for various manufacturers, with Nissan for a long time, with Hyundai, with Kia, a lot of manufacturers in between, and just navigating the digital world of getting parts in now.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much. I'm going to acknowledge a couple of comments, and then I'm going to play a funny little video, and we'll jump right into it. So joining us first is Russell B. Hill. I know you do, he says. And Robert Allen Carvel, good evening, everyone. Russell B. Hill says, good morning. Good morning. I suppose it's morning somewhere, but it's not morning here on the East Coast. So, gentlemen, let's go and grow and learn and earn. Lamont Harris, I'm so happy he no longer shows up as hashtag LinkedIn user. So thank you, Mike, for helping Lamont out with that. Says, good evening, gents. And MD Jashim Udin says, good evening, welcome. I think this is maybe your first time on the show. Mike Vogel, hello, Paul, Freddy, and Andy Service and Parts are joined at the hip. Absolutely, man. And coming to us all the way from the West Coast, we've got Mike Weldon. Good evening, my friend. Looking forward to tonight's broadcast. And we've got somebody coming in as LinkedIn user. So, Mike, maybe you can help that guy out. All right, so we've all heard the term parts is parts, but how many people really know where that came from? Does anybody in the audience know where that came from? Speak now or forever hold your peace, because I'm going to share with you where it came from. Da, 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 da. Okay, we're going to play that clip right now. Let's go to the videotape.
Those nibbits some hamburger places serve are actually processed chicken.
Excuse me, but what was that in there? It's chicken. Chicken.
Processed.
Processed?
That's like when they take a lot of chickens and assemble the respective parts.
What parts?
What parts?
Different parts.
Parts is parts.
Wendy's chicken sandwiches, pure boneless breast of chicken. Moist and perfect and not processed.
As I hear tell, all the parts are crammed into one big part.
Fused.
Yeah, then the one big part is cut up into little pieces parts. And parts is parts.
You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
Parts is parts. And I have a special love for parts because it was the second job that I've had in the auto parts, in the auto world. It was, let's go back to 1979. I was a delivery driver for a place called Fair Auto Supply. And I'll never forget, I drove an E150 delivery van with 3 on the tree. There's people today don't even know what that is. So it's a manual shift transmission with the shifter on the column. And to this day, I can still hear in my head the rattling that rattle trap of a van made. Fair Auto Supply. The parts business is a very stressful business. And now I happen to be in the aftermarket at the Fair Auto Supply. And I worked for a guy named Ralph DiMattia, who has since passed on, God rest his soul. But Ralph used to crack me up because in the morning, he'd be really torqued up. Okay. He'd be so tightly wound because of the pressures. There's so many parts that had to go out for delivery. And I remember one morning, Ralph was so frustrated that he kicked this box that was on the ground, wound up, gave it a swift kick. Well, the box didn't go too far. He had to leave suddenly, and a few hours later, he came back with a full leg cast. Apparently, it was a starter motor in that box that he kicked. And then, come lunchtime, he'd mellow out just a little bit, but he'd still be a little bit crazed, we'll say. Now, I'm a very particular cat. Okay, I do certain things certain ways, and you need to chew your food a set number of times before you swallow it. That way, you properly digest it and you get all the nutrients from it. But in our business, things are always go, go, go. We tend to inhale our food, but not this guy. So Ralph used to get all pissed off at me because I would be there at the counter having my chili dog and fries, and I would chew, I forget how many times, it was 20 or whatever it was. And he would literally be right in my face waiting for me to stop chewing. And as soon as it was done, he's like, okay, now get out of here. The garage is waiting. So parts has always been special to me. And they're the unsung heroes in the dealership. Make no mistake about it. Nothing happens without a part. So tonight, we're going to discuss some of those things. So the first thing we want to talk about is the impact of technology on the parts department. All right, there's technology that's on the market. Some is used, some is not used. You have to learn it. So why don't you gentlemen kick in and share some of your experiences with the technologies in running your stores?
Well, some of the things that we do with technology nowadays is we actually have electronic scanning for scanning our parts in. It's actually a better way of, because what I used to do, say 6 months ago, parts came in, I touched every single part that came in. And now I have a CDK scanner. I can scan the barcode on the part, and you give it simple commands. If you got 10 in, it's a simple command. You can scan all 10 in one shot. And there's a lot less mistakes. And I feel better about what's coming in because you see it, you scan it, it's there. And it makes my job a lot easier. Instead of taking me a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour to check in the parts, I have it done in 20 minutes. And I can get my day started a lot quicker.
So it saved you a lot of time.
Yeah, it really did. And I had to be sold on it. It's like I'm old school. I'm used to doing it. If I didn't touch it, it's not here. Well, I did touch it. Maybe I was going so fast, I didn't realize that it was there. And with the scanner, it's very hard to make that mistake.
How about you, Freddy?
Yeah, so the same thing, especially, the scanner benefits anybody, big, small, it doesn't matter what kind of dealer you are, but I would be willing to bet if you're a wholesale player, you've definitely got, some sort of scan gun in your system, if not multiple. I think every wholesale player is pretty much using one of the big ones I've seen was Scan Solutions way back. They're still around. They're still in the dealerships, and everybody's got a Zebra printer, for all their bin labels just for the check-in process. But even the DMSs are getting smarter. Everybody's got their own thing. CDK's got their own solutions, and Reynolds coming along with Ignite. Dealer Track's got all kinds of reporting that you can export into Excel, just to manage your check-ins and your inventory and things like that.
Right.
And then you've got other companies that want to manage your inventory for you. Every manufacturer's got some sort of RIM program that you've got to integrate with. You've got to get your DMS to get set up properly just for reading the inventories.
Right.
You've got guys out there like Parts Eye and things like that trying to, help you out with your inventory and, try to coach you. Obviously, there's no replacement for a good, solid parts manager, but there's definitely some assistance out there, not something you can absolutely 100% depend on, but sure makes their job a whole lot easier these days. The days of, working on your stock order for, 2 hours or so and then having to, dial a phone and scan it in via fax, that's
Right.
Fax.
Yeah.
The old dial up, listening
Yes.
to the tones go through, waiting for your order to go through.
I'm a big fan of the CDK system because, not only does it work well to help you manage, but it also keeps track of little things like if the part's on order for somebody, right? The notifications.
Right.
So now a part comes in, the customer gets notified, the advisor gets notified, everybody's on the same page. Now it's just a question of scheduling that job.
And some of the problems with that is getting the service department to actually schedule that. We notify them that the parts are in, then it's their job to schedule the appointment. That's where we sometimes have a disconnect.
Sometimes.
Okay, most of the time.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah.
So one of the things I used to love when I walk into a store, okay, my first stop is the special order shelf. And dealership, what's the average store's inventory these days? I mean, I know it's going to vary, but give me a range.
Anywhere from probably $200,000 to $400,000 in inventory.
That's frozen capital. I think that's what they call it, right? Because that's money that's spent that's sitting there.
Right.
So what I love is I love walking over to the special order shelf and I look and see the parts that are there. Oftentimes there's a bit of dust on those parts. And I turn to the manager and I say, can you tell me specifically how much money you have sitting on this shelf here? And I always get that look. Well, I could look it up.
Yeah. No.
Wrong answer, right?
Wrong answer.
The computer knows.
Yeah, the computer knows. And the dealer knows when he looks at the obsolescence report.
Right.
Right. And then I asked the follow-up question to that. Do you know what percentage of these parts have been scheduled? And I get that same look.
Yeah.
I could look that up. Wrong answer. So where the technology comes in, as you said, Andy, you scan the part. That technology lets the customer know the part's in, lets the service department knows the part's in. Now we can get and on the phone or the text or the email or all three is what I recommend and schedule that part because obsolescence is still a problem for a lot of stores.
Right.
And if you have to get rid of the parts, you're lucky if you get 50 cents on the dollar.
And some parts you can't send back. Toyota and Lexus right now have small parts, anything under $8 you own. And it's troublesome if you have somebody new in the parts department or is not paying attention, ordering parts wrong. You start seeing your inventory start to creep up a little bit time and time again because they're not paying attention to what they're ordering. And all of a sudden it QPs to 10. Now you're stuck with 10 of them. And if it's wrong, now what do you do?
And there's probably a lot of parts, probably more than most people think, that are in that price category, no?
Yes.
So many.
Too many. It's every little fastener, every little clip. They add up. They add up quickly.
Now, is everybody privy to the data as far as, how often do people look and look at the inventory and keep an eye on how many turns per year, things like that?
It should be done, I believe, probably either not daily or weekly. Just watching your inventory, making sure that it is turning and not just sitting there. Because if it's just sitting there, it's not doing anybody any good.
Right. Yeah, I would definitely go with, that's a weekly, you should definitely be diving into your inventory weekly, the deep depths, you kind of schedule out your days. Most part, this is what you want to get accomplished, but that should definitely be up there.
Now, I remember from back in the day, inventory used to be that Saturday, Sunday combo that everybody came in, all hands on deck. There's pizza, there's hamburgers, there's hot dogs, and we're all going up and down. We've got the clipboards, and it's hours and hours and hours of counting every little part. But with the technology today, you're doing perpetual inventory as you go, right? You only have to scan so many bins,
right?
And it's up to date. Let's see here. Lamont Harris. Yes, thanks, Coach Mike. LOL. Mike Vogel says, I'd like to know if you are engaging in having a successful tire program, and if so, what are you doing to make it successful? Love that question. How are both of you guys doing with tires?
Well, right now, a couple of things that we do. We're actually 10% lower than what our local competitor, Town Fair Tires, selling tires for. So we're 10% lower than what suggested list price is. We're lower than that. And also, Lexus is doing a promotion right now that buy 2 tires, you get $75 off the tires. If you buy all 4, you get $150. So basically, they're paying for the taxes right now. It's going on for about a month and a half. I think it ends in the end of April.
How about you, Freddie?
So tires are definitely something I want to capture more of. We're not doing such a fantastic job right now. I shouldn't say we're doing horrible, but definitely we're climbing away. We actually have a representative in our service drive, and he actually goes out, and his whole job is specifically to talk to and coach people on tires, educating them on where their tire levels are, and should they be prepared this visit? Is it something they should be planning for in the future? And offering them the different options, the some with the rebates and some with the buy one get one, things like that. So offering him a good competitive price. And he's also trained to show competition prices as well to try to drive in some of those sales. So sales wise, we are doing a whole lot better.
So here's my theory on tires, and it's a pretty solid theory, I believe. I think the reason we're not selling tires at the store is because we're not communicating to the public that we're in the tire business. Okay, the price thing, I don't think, opinion, right? Everybody has one,
right?
I don't think that the price thing so much plays into it as it does having the conversation from day one. If customers know from moment one, when they go on the website the first time to research, is this the dealership I want to do business with? And they see videos about tires, and they see pictures, they see the shop, they see that you're actively promoting tires.
Right.
That will go a long way. The discounts that we give, I think we don't have to give as much discounts because we've earned the right to charge more.
Yeah.
But because we don't communicate that is why they don't think of us when it comes to tires. Now, I've gone into stores where, there's nothing. I think the greatest thing since sliced bread is the drive over alignment and tire checker. Now, there are stores that spend 6 figures on the technology there, but yet I mystery shop stores, and I've gone sometimes as much as 5-6 times to the same store, and not once have seen somebody use that.
I think most of the problems is that when they're installed, as new valets or new service people come in, they're not trained on what they're looking at.
Trained.
And training is very important for any dealership. That if someone doesn't know how to use it, they're not going to use it.
Yeah.
And so this car comes in, and it needs an alignment, needs tires, and and the people say, oh well, I'm going to Town Fair Tire, or I'm going to Costco, and they'll do my tires for me.
Yeah, we should be using technology to wow our customers, to make them, you can't get this kind of service anywhere else. I mean, we should be looking up vehicle histories when they come in, right? When we write up the RO. Hey, I see you bought tires with us. You get a free tire rotation today because you brought your vehicle in for service. You're here for an oil change. We'll give you a free tire rotation. Oh, really? Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
People like that kind of stuff. And, jumping ahead of them before they have to ask for it is what it is. You're
Right.
offering something before they've even thought of. Oh, wow.
Right.
It's really good.
You're giving them, you're going exceeding their expectations before they even know it.
Bingo.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the proactive thing, all right? Because if I meet you for the first time, I'm going to explain my process to you that each time you come in, we're going to, because we care about your safety and your time, we're going to check your tires and alignment every single time just to make sure. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, we know that certain tires are predicted to last a certain period of time.
Right.
Whether it's 40,000 miles, 50,000 miles. Okay. So here's a little cheat that I suggest. When the car comes in the first time, we measure it and we share with the customer the color printout. The machine has it. We print it. We share it with them. We explain to them what it means as far as added stopping distance or not. We tell them that their tires are in great shape. They're at 10,000 miles. These tires are expected to last about 40,000 miles. But each time you come in, we're going to check it for you. Right. So now the next time they come in, maybe they're 6,000 miles later, it's the same thing again. You give them the printout, you share with them. So by the time they need tires, it's not a surprise because you've educated them. But right. More important than that, when they're maybe 2 visits away from needing tires, what I would do is I would create an opcode in your DMS, and maybe you call it, if we know that based on tire condition now and tire wear expected for that particular tire, if we know that probably come July of 2024, they're going to need tires, then maybe what I'll do is June or May of 2024, I'll call the opcode May of 2024 tires. So now every month I come in, I can run those opcodes and I have my list of prospects that are going to be needing tires. And I can reach out to that customer, whether by phone, text, or email, or preferably all 3. Hey, it's Paul from XYZ dealership. How are you? At this point, they should know you by name. They should recognize your voice. They should know your phone number because you've communicated and followed up with them. Hey, I just wanted to put it on your radar. We've been checking your tires, the last 4 times you came in, and I have in my tickler file here that probably around July you may be due for them. So if it's okay with you, can you pop by for a quick inspection? Okay, you don't have to go crazy. Just come on in. You're just going to drive through it. I'm going to check it for you to make sure you're safe. All right. And the reason we check your alignments every time is because guess what? You ever hit a pothole, any of you guys?
No, not in Connecticut.
How about where you are, Freddy? You hit pothole?
I'm in Chicago. There's potholes everywhere.
So a pothole can knock your car out of alignment. So the reason we check your alignment every time is because a set of tires on your car goes for about $1,000. We do them all the time. But if I can catch your alignment being off now, would you rather spend that $1,000 6 months from now or a year from now? What do you think the answer is going to be from the customer?
No, a year from now.
Yeah. So they see that you care about them. You're selling the green, right? You're not trying to get them for something. And when when they need the tires, this is a conversation I promise you most people are not having. I'm going to share this with you right here. This is crucially important. You want to grab the customer by the hand and you want to do this walk. All right, check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 31 feet from where I'm standing. 31 feet. That's how much longer it takes you to stop. The difference between having new tires or tires that are in good shape compared to tires that need replacement. At 4:30 seconds, your stopping distance is 126 feet. At 7:30 seconds, your stopping distance is 104 feet. At 10:30 seconds, your stopping distance is 95 feet. Think about that. When you have that conversation with somebody and they see how much longer it's going to take them to stop based on the tire condition that they have now, what's the next question going to be out of their mouth?
Can you do the tires today?
You didn't even ask about the price.
Right.
No.
Right? Because we're talking about customer service here, providing excellent customer service. And that, my friends, is excellent customer service. Let me get to a couple of comments here before we go. I get carried away sometimes because I'm so passionate about the business. Robert Allen Carvel says also should have a missed sale list. Absolutely. Absolutely. That should be attacked with a vengeance, but in a very positive way. Melissa Ann Clammer says, hey, y'all. Hey, welcome. She says, my auto group is big on tire sales. We offer buy now, pay later on tires. Offer options. Right? There's no one right way to do anything. What might work for me might not work for you.
Right.
Robert Allen Carvel says parts departments are missing out if they are not selling tires. We should be one-stop shop. And Mike Vogel, tires are the pathway to future retention. Tire store quotes don't include road hazard or mount and balance. Make sure your customers know that the price does that your price does, apple to apple comparison. Now, there was a thread on LinkedIn recently, and somebody had commented that the reason they don't sell tires is because the advisors don't get paid to sell tires. Well, I beg to differ with that. You do get paid to sell tires. You don't get as much as an engine job, for sure. But guess what? If you lose the tire business and 7 out of 10 customers leave us for the aftermarket to do the tires there, they're not coming back because a lot of these shops have gone into scheduled maintenance. They do oil changes. They do brakes. Once you lose them, they're gone. So when somebody says the advisor doesn't get paid to sell tires, oh, absolutely they do. They get a little bit now, but the customers come back to have the other work done.
Right.
So that's critical. And Melissa Ann says, my advisors can see what we have on inventory without talking to parts. So we can get customers immediately. Now that's communication, right? If everybody's on the same page and we all know what the situation is, we can't fumble. We can't drop the ball. The customers are too smart and they have too short of attention spans for that. So that's a brilliant move right there. Robert Allen Carvel says a lot of dealers run specials, but 3 get 1 for $1. And when we pull wheels off, it gives us more opportunity to sell more parts.
True.
So everybody gets paid for selling tires. The parts department does, And guess what? That alignment, that's $100 on sale or $150 in a lot of stores. For the most part, that's pure profit. Many stores will pick up $10,000 extra per month in alignment business just by having the machine and having a process in place to use it. And Melissa Ann says, Robert Allen Carvel, 100% tires in stock also help upsell other things. And it doesn't all have to be in stock because a lot of stores have warehouses not too far from the store. Andy, if you had to get tires, how long does it take you to get a set of tires?
We actually get 2 deliveries a day. So if we place an order by 9 a.m., we have it by 12:30. And if we place the order before noon, we'll have it by 2:30.
And you have shuttle service, if I recall correctly, and you have loaner cars.
Correct.
So what's wrong with sending somebody down the road and getting the tire that day if by chance you don't have it in stock?
Well, the only difference is if I'm buying tires from Town Fair, I can't really give them the road hazard warranty.
Okay.
So I'm no longer getting them from Dealer Tire.
Okay.
Dealer Tire is one of the biggest companies, I think, that worked with most manufacturers for their tire needs, and that's how they offer the road hazard warranties.
Yeah.
Right now with Dealer Tire, you buy a set of tires, first 2 years, direct replacement on the tire, you have a road hazard damage, nail in the tire, blown out sidewall, bubble in the sidewall of the tire. They'll replace the tire free of charge. And then after that, they'll do a proration on the tire. And that's good at any Lexus store from here to California. So that's what I like about selling tires through the dealer.
I like the warranty aspect because it's the hook.
Right.
Right. I had horrible Android phones. I had 15 of them, but I kept going back because, it's free. It's under warranty. Until my buddy David Kokenauer says to me, get rid of it. Every 3 months, I have to hear your rant, and you're probably cutting a few hours off of your life every time you have to change it. Sure, it's free, but you're trading your life for it. I switched phone brands. Guess what? I have had minimal in the last, 10 years or so since I switched. I lost track. I've had minimal issues with the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So the warranty is good because it gets you coming back, but then you have that 0 moment of truth. When they come back, that's when you wow them. You have to wow them and make them feel as appreciated if they're coming in for a free warranty or if they're coming in for a $1,000 job. And my Subaru dealer, Premier Subaru in Brantford, Connecticut, I had an issue with something I refer to as Apple No Play, because when I needed it most, it didn't work. Mm-hmm. So they proactively reached out to the OEM. They got authorization to replace my radio head. These guys came to my house, dropped off a loaner, picked up my car, brought it back to the shop, replaced it, brought it back, and guess what's working like a freaking charm right now? I have Apple Play again. Apple No Play is retired. And I tell everybody about that. That's the kind of service. So, Freddie, give me some of your experiences in the tire world.
Yeah. So, when we're talking about tires and we're talking about, how quick can we get the tires? Yeah, a lot of, the Dealer Tire is one of them. Some manufacturers work with Tire Rack, and they have multiple deliveries a day. But, when we got a customer down in the shop and, we've got to go get a part, doesn't matter what the part is. We should be, if the customer's in the shop, customer's got an expectation of when they got to get their car back, we should be going to get that part. So whether it's a cam sensor or oxygen sensor, you're chasing around for something like that. Why aren't we chasing for those tires? We can go to the tire warehouse, we can pick them up for another dealer, whatever we have to do. At the end of the day, there's a customer that's got a need, and we're here to fill that need. We're here to take care of that customer because that's how we earn their business. Right. Especially with big dollar amounts like tires. I know that we talk about, how much is in it for me when we talk about tires. There's a lot in it because that's a return customer. So if you're making, pennies today, whatever it is, whatever your markup is on tires, you're earning a customer for life. So why wouldn't you want to go chase for those tires?
Brilliant. That's an investment in your own future. But more importantly, and I'm totally the opposite of most people in the fixed ops side. Everybody focuses on, I need to get so many hours per RO. My ELR's got to be so much. This has to be so much. There's one action that determines all of those metrics. If a customer comes to you for every single thing they need when they need it, every single thing, will you have maxed out your opportunity with that customer? If there's nothing left to sell them.
Yeah, you might have. But if they are coming back for everything that they need, they are a loyal customer. And they will also tell their friends, their family, whenever I deal with XYZ dealership, they always take care of what my needs are. Yes. You're getting more business there.
Yes.
That's where I was going to go as well. It's like, okay, if you've taken care of everything for your customer, if you've absolutely done everything else, they've got friends, they've got family. Hey, they may have another second car in their garage. Be like, okay, yeah, you're at my Toyota dealership. I'm glad that we've taken care of your Toyota. We've fixed it up completely. What else do you have? What other kind of vehicles do you have? Hey, we do maintenance on those vehicles as well. Things like that. You don't have to just take care of Toyotas just because you're a Toyota dealership. You can take care of other makes, whatever they have in their garage. You want to be their one-stop shop. You don't want them going anywhere else.
And also, but also another thing is, if you've done all your service work at your ABC dealer, that dealer now knows what kind of service we've been doing to their car. It's a very valuable used car at this point because we've done all the recommended services. We've taken care of it. Now, when they decide to buy a new car, we have a quality used car to sell as well.
A car with a local history has a greater value to that local customer than something that came from Kansas City that nobody knows anything about.
Right.
I want to get to a couple of comments here. Linda Hansen, how many are using the Hunter or UV tire scanning technologies in the drive? I've seen a lot of them. When your question is how many are using them, the number that are using them might be surprisingly less than the number that have them, because there's no process. Nobody holds anybody accountable. Do both of you have those machines in your shops?
We did, but they have since taken it out.
No, we're unfortunately, our dealership is under construction right now, so we're going to be newer and better than ever. But currently, we don't have one of those machines. We do have them in other of our stores, though, our other dealer groups.
With a solid process in place, that machine will give you $1,000 or $10,000 a month in alignments, depending on the volume of your store. Mike Fisher, my good friend, Mike Vogel, you are right. Mount and balance extra, fees extra, taxes extra. That's the key. Mike says, in my humble opinion, if your service advisors are paid on gross, you should consider paying them a spiff, since tire sales are technically a big ticket item in many stores. That's a great idea, Mike. Great idea. Jerry Davis, another one of our SDL brothers. Great topic. For dealership, tires are a great retention tool. They also lead to other sales. I mean, it's so academic. It's not even funny, but I can't tell you the number of stores I walk into and I ask, how's your tire business? Oh, we can't compete with the aftermarket. You can compete with the aftermarket because people will pay more for convenience. And in often the case, as often is the case, they'll pay more at the aftermarket. Let me share with you, I was at a restaurant and I was having a conversation and I said to this young lady, there's nothing fast in automotive, nothing. And she says, I beg to differ with you. Listen what this young lady had to say. There's nothing in automotive that doesn't take a long time at all.
That's actually not true. I just had an experience where I was at a quick lube oil change and it only took me 15 minutes. I didn't even have to get out of my car. So I spent a little extra money for the convenience factor, and I would do it time and time again.
Now, did you catch that? I spent a little extra money for the convenience factor, and I would do it time and time again.
Because dealers are learning that customers' time is the most important thing to that customer. It's something that we've been dealing with for probably the past 5 or 6 years about customer time. And if they feel like they're wasting their time, they don't want to be bothered coming to your dealership.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dealer's got a bad rap for, they take forever with getting my car back. It's going to be an all-day process. I can't believe it. Yeah, we absolutely should be doing better, and we should be offering things like that, things that are going to get the customer in and out. And yeah, you can probably get a premium for that because they just want their car back.
And I know
places to go.
Right. And I know Toyota does have a quick lube set area that they have 2 techs that are working on each car that they're in and out in like 20 minutes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
But you try every time, right?
You try.
Consistency in the plan. Let me get to a couple of comments. Jerry Davis, you need to play the long game, not the short game. Retention is key. I think I've shared in previous episodes when I ran my shops, customer would come in at lunchtime, no appointment. This is when oil changes were $19.95 or $19.99. And they say, listen, I'm on my lunch break. I need an oil change. And the parking lot was full. Okay. I pull a tech off a $1,600 job. I said, do me a favor. That car was left. Put the wheels on it. Roll it out. Let's get Bill's car in. He's in a time crunch. We need to get his oil changed. And the tech would flip at me. I said, look, just go with it. I'd get the guy in. I'd get the guy out. 20 minutes later, hey, Bill, you're all set, man. Thank you very much. And they would appreciate it. And as a result, I'd come in on a Monday morning. I'd have cars towed in for stuff work to be done that we didn't even do. They didn't ask if we did the work. They had the cars towed to our shop to have the work done. And when I said to them on the phone call, I'm sorry, I appreciate your loyalty, but we don't do that kind of work, they would beg to have us do it. Oh, please, can't you do it for me? You do my brakes, you do my suspension, you do my exhaust. Can't you please do that for me? It's mechanics. I'd say, no, I'd cave. All right, let me call you back. I'd call the parts house. I'd go into my Chilton labor guide. I'd call them back. You know what? We'll do it for you. And it led to other things. Before the corporation decided to do other services, I started it in our shop. It's just another job. What's factory maintenance? It's an oil change with a tire rotation and a look-see and filters change. So we started peeling off dealer stickers off of windshields that were due. I'd go, hey, I see on the window here, you're coming up for a service. I don't know if you're aware, but we do factory service. You do? I said, yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. That's what they say. Not how much is it. Go ahead and do it because they know they're already there. They like us. They knew all the techs by name. The techs knew all of them by name, and we knew their families. Those are the kind of relationships we need to develop. We have a retail yarn shop, okay? And we blow it up on social media. We had a customer on one of our live shows the other day from Australia. Hey, welcome. You're brand new here. How did you hear about us? Oh, you came across my feed. Well, guess what? We have customers in Australia.
Wow.
Maybe they're connected. So she saw us on Facebook, and now she's a loyal fan, soon to be a customer. I think she might have even placed an order. Last week, we had an order that was shipped to Chile. The week before, we had an order that went to Denmark and an order that went to Germany. All because customer service and leveraging social media. So this is duplicatable in any business. You can do this at the auto dealership. There's no reason why everybody shouldn't know all of your customers and their families. Document it, put it in the DMS, put it in the notes section, put it in the CRM, whatever.
Right.
This is Bill and Sally. They have 2 kids. They play golf. They like to fish, all that. So when they come in, hey, Bill, hey, Sally, how are you? Hey, catch anything lately? How strong do you think that is with the customer? Let me get to a couple of comments here. Ron Usher, my absolute favorite retired tech, says, put a couple of good old tire racks full of tires at the drive-up with a sign, "We sell tires here." What a novel concept. Let them know you're in the tire business. Linda Hansen, Ron, yes. If they don't know, how can they buy? Love the smell of tires on the drive. A little take on a movie here. Linda Hansen says, Paul, I agree. All too often, I see the advisors not using them. All too often, like all the time. It's criminal. I would cane somebody. If I spent that kind of money on a alignment and tire check, I would cane them on camera probably. Because that's just inexcusable, right? That's my money. That's your money as an employee. And that's most importantly, that's the safety of the people that come to you that spend 40, 60, 80 grand on a car, and you're not looking out for them, their best interest. Shame on you. Vernon E. Davis II, otherwise known as the Longhorn. The man is a legend in automotive, particularly fixed ops, and one hell of a comedian. Says, great topic. I came from Firestone and Quick Lane. Tires are paramount. You can say that again. He says, great topic. I came from Firestone and Quick Lane. Tires are paramount. See what I did there? I just said it again. Linda Hansen says, convenience is more important than price to a large amount of customers. Well, guess what? I'd rather pay more money for better quality and service.
Right.
Okay? But when it comes to service, I had to get my 6,000 mile service done on my car. You know, they called me, hey, you're due for your service. I'm scratching my head. I'm looking at my schedule. I got a bunch of clients I'm onboarding. I've got a few projects that I'm in the middle of. I just don't have the time. They're about 30 minutes from my house. I just don't have the time. So you know what they said to me? Listen, I know you're pressed for time. Would it be easier if we just came to get the car and brought a loaner to you? Yeah, that would be great. And that's what they did. I even made a video of it and put it out there. You think a couple of people might have seen that? They're going to get some business off of that. Let's see here. Mike Vogel. Here we go. Shameless plug. Don't spend $100,000 on equipment. Take a look at Traction for your tire drive and alignment checker. No CapEx, minimal upstart cost. What's great about that company is that it's like you're leasing the machines from them, but you're always getting the latest, greatest stuff, right? If you spend a lot of money on something, you own it. Sure, you could depreciate it and write it off, but you may not have the latest stuff. With this company, you have the latest stuff, and rumor has it their customer service is pretty much spot on. Linda Hansen says, huge problem right now is lead time for the appointment. I know stores with a 5 to 6 week delay. More criminal. What kind of are you privy to service wait times?
Right now, I think we're at probably 3 to 4 day wait. So it's not terrible. Sometimes we see people scheduling a month in advance. And it's like, why are you waiting so long? We can do your car a lot sooner.
How about you, Freddie?
About the same thing. We've probably about a week lead time, but yeah, there's other dealers that are out there, and it's next to impossible to get an appointment. We hear it all the time, like, oh yeah, I tried to get in somewhere else and they can't see me for like a month or 2 months, something like that. Why do we do that to people? We, you have to obviously make those time demands, but why do we send people away for so long? They're going to go somewhere else. They're going to get their work done. They're going to get it done somewhere.
And once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah,
right. It's almost like we're making appointments like doctor's offices. It's like it's a 2 to 3 month wait to see a doctor. I go, yeah, but I need a doctor now. And
right.
Yeah, I'm having a heart attack and my heart can't wait. Now I'll come back in 2 months.
Yeah,
a month, 5, 6 weeks wait. That's just sick, pun intended, on the doctor thing. I wouldn't wait that long.
No.
I went into a store. It said express service. I pull up to the door. Nobody came out. So I get out of my car. I go inside. I'd like to get my car serviced. She says, what day next week can you come in?
Yeah.
I think you said express service on the building. Yeah, but what day next week can you come in? Well, no, actually, I'm here now. I think that express service means like now. So
Yeah.
I'd like to have it done now. We can't get to you till next week. Well, guess what? I went somewhere else. I never went back.
And and once you have bad service with somewhere, you never go back. I mean, you think about even just like a coffee shop. You always will pass by, the coffee shop. Oh no, they're terrible. If something happened over there, you will drive farther for the next coffee shop because you know that one's got a bad rap with you. You will not go there again. You'll drive somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's also, I've seen it for going to get your haircut. Walk-ins welcome. You walk in, well, we're taking appointments right now. We'll see you in a few hours. It's like, then why do you have a sign in the window? Walk-ins welcome. Yeah.
Well, that's not a problem for me.
Well,
I totally get it. Linda Hansen, huge problem right now. Oh, I did that one already. Sorry. Jerry Davis, the reason the aftermarket beats dealerships on tires is they are educated on tires. They have the tires. They make it easy. In dealerships, we make it hard. And Frank Montes, welcome, Frank, says some of the most successful service advisors sold tires knowing that there was little return on tire sales, but they sure made up for it when the same customer returned for service and other repairs. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's the long game. Jim Phillips, welcome. I think that's a new name here. Is anyone having success with a good, better, best option on tires? How's that? Are you guys using that?
We're using basically OEM tires. With being a Lexus dealership, we're trying to stay with OEM or OEA tires. We usually have 2 or 3 choices, sometimes 4 choices on tires.
I used to love my Michelins on my Lexus.
Well, Michelin's a very good tire.
Yep, that's my tire.
Linda Hansen says, Frank, once they're gone, it's so difficult to get them back. Yes, and I don't care how much you spend on your lost soul campaigns, they're lost for a reason. And the soul part of lost soul is because they're dead to you. They're not coming back. Vernon Davis, I had great success with good, better, best tire options when I was on that side of the business. You know what? If you haven't tried it at your store, try it.
It can't hurt.
And an example I like to use in good, better, best, to take it one step further in fixed ops, okay? We talk about the defection, right? The tires are the first defection point. They're gone. But typically, we don't see the older cars come in. And when we sell used cars, we don't typically see those cars come in.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Because they go to the aftermarket, right? They're out of warranty, so there's no hook. I've talked to a couple of progressive dealers that they have a sliding scale on labor for older cars. The person that's got a 2023 is expecting to pay a certain amount for labor. The person that's got a 1993 isn't expecting to pay 2023 prices.
Right.
So they're never coming in. But if you had a lower cost on your labor, and now we'll take it one step further, and we'll go into competition and aftermarket suppliers, and maybe you offer them a good, better, best. So here's the factory rotor. This is why we use it. Sell the benefits of the factory parts. But I want to let you know we also have these items available that we get at a local auto parts store. I'm not going to say it's the same integrity of quality, but it will get the job done. They probably sell more of those than we sell of ours. That's a fact. And another thing we talked about before we went live here is the boneyards, the junkyards, right? The junkyards used to be me teetering 3 cars up in the yard, yanking parts off a car. They didn't care. But now, Andy, what today's modern junkyard?
They're just as computerized and in touch with everything as we are. They know how much our parts go for. They're selling their parts very close to our prices, sometimes even more. It all depends on supply and demand.
And they know what they have. When
Right.
you call them on the phone, a starter motor for a 2018 Chevy, whatever. Yeah, we have that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes the dealers can't get it, so they know what they got. That's exactly it. They know the market. They're smart about that.
Right. And if they've noticed that there's an uptick on this part, that's when their prices start going up.
Yeah.
If the dealer can't get it, well, we have it. It's used, but it will get you out of a bind now.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you educate them as to, if you get this one, this is what you can expect. If
Right.
you put a used part on, it's depending on what it is, it's
Right.
not always a known fact. But if the price differential is one where you give them the option, right? We don't prejudge. You present everything to them. They make the choice. You're not selling
That's
them
it.
anything. We're in the education business.
Right.
We guide them to the decision that works best for them. And they respect it and they're happy with it. And when you tell them what the possible outcomes are either way, nobody's going to fault you for that.
Right.
Let's see here. We got Robert Allen Carvel. We need the retention. In Hotlanta, Amazon will come to your house and change your oil. Average service from Amazon is $269. Customers pay for convenience. Right back to the video I played before.
Wow.
The competition is getting stiff. Mike Vogel, Jim Phillips, good, better, best is a necessity by giving every customer option. Try it. If you haven't done it, try it. If it doesn't work in your store, at least you know you've tried it. But if it does work and it makes more happy customers, then guess what? That's going to increase everything.
Right.
And Linda Hansen says, don't forget your cute puppies, Paul. I have 2 Yorkies. One is 4 1/4 pounds on the postal scale. And the other one, we just got him a couple of weeks ago. He's like 5.6 pounds, something like that. Thank you, Linda. Frank Monte says, Linda Hansen, I know. Vernon Davis says, thanks for the shout out. Going to do my Sunday night show now. Have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, Longhorn. Mike Vogel, Paul Meijer. Sounds like you and I need to take over some fixed ops departments and get these issues resolved. Mike, let's do it, man. Let's put some boots on and kick some ass. Linda Hansen, mature vehicle clubs are great retention tools. Mature vehicle clubs. I haven't heard of that, but I'm assuming that means older, like me.
And me.
Joe Clementi, great job meeting you. Great job meeting tonight, men. Great job meeting tonight, men. Love all the ideas and best practices. Thank you. Wow, I just can't get the time right. It was an hour, sometimes go an hour and a half. Then I said, you know what, let me cut it down to a half hour. But a half hour just doesn't always get it done. Tonight's show is brought to you by dealervendormatch.com and Traver Connect. You may have noticed in the corner of the screen here. And I'm going to play a short clip. Let me put John Frazier on, a name we all know.
Hi, I'm John Frazier, and I'm the service director here at Paulding Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Dallas, Georgia. I'd like to take just a moment to share with you about my experience with dealervendormatch.com. Over the past year, our service business has grown exponentially. It's resulted in more traffic across our service drive and even more traffic across our phones. We desperately needed a BDC solution that would allow us to complete our day-to-day tasks more efficiently, all while meeting the needs of our customers that were calling into the store. Dealer Vendor Match allowed me to search through an array of vendors on my time and on my terms with no pressure whatsoever. It really gave me the opportunity to zero in on the perfect solution for our department. We ultimately chose to do business with Traver Connect out of Texas, and they've done an incredible job over the past few months assisting our service advisors and taking care of our customers' needs as they call into the store. So I recommend to you that no matter what solution you're looking for, whether it's the front of the store or the back of the store, when you're looking for a vendor for your dealership, make your first stop dealervendormatch.com.
So Traver Connect, a great company. I had the privilege of visiting them at NADA, and we did a live walkthrough there. So if you're not familiar with them, check them out. You can find them on our portal, dealervendormatch.com. So thank you for your support, Traver Connect. Let's see here. Linda Hansen says discounts on labor on older cars. Me too. It works. It really does work. And Robert Allen Carvel says family pricing on air, cabin filters, wiper blades, etc. So, wow, we covered a lot of stuff here today. And I want to thank both of you gentlemen for spending your Sunday night with us. Freddy's actually on vacation in Florida, and he took time out of his vacation to join us here and share with us. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Andy Parts, 20 years and going strong, brother.
Thanks, Paul.
Any final thoughts you want to leave with our audience?
Be aggressive, be hungry. The customers need service. You've got to be the guy. Just like dealer vendor match is the guy. I know a guy for that. You got to be the guy too. They got to come to you. Be the guy.
And make sure all our service writers are trained so they can get the tires sold. There are our frontline people there. They're the ones that greet the customers. They're the ones that have to get the job done.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. A couple last comments before we roll. And why don't you guys stay on for a moment after we go off? Frank Monte says, enjoy your weekend, everyone. The weekend ended.
It's over.
It's over. Yeah. Robert Allen Carvel, thank you. SNL, a great night. Thank you very much for your support always. And Linda Hansen, have a great week, everyone. Thank you. If you see value in what we discussed here today, thank you to everybody that watched it live and those who will watch it on the replay. Do share this with your connections, because if one tidbit helps them to get one happy customer, don't forget that one happy customer has 500 Facebook friends. And that's the potential of 500 customers in front of you for this much money. So thanks again. Have a safe and successful next week, and we'll see you on Sunday Night Live. Thanks for watching.